Welcome to Bonnet Blade. As you know, I'm Dr. Grant Ferguson. My PhD is in Scottish history. The reason I'm saying this is not because of any reason of bigging myself up. It's about the fact that I've been offline for 6 months. Why have I been offline for 6 months? Well, I'm going to try and explain. A lot of you already know I suffer with motor neuron disease, which is why I'm no longer lecturing or working in the university. I've been in hospital, I've been ill, I've been out of hospital, and that is my reason for being quiet. It's not because of any reasons of giving up or anything like that, that's far from. So on a lighter note, we want to get started today. So what are we going to do? Well, to walk round our little village called Penpont in southwest Scotland. And as we walk round Penpont, I want to take you with us and see how much history is in this little village, because it is only a little village and I'm sure we're going to find a lot of interesting facts. So let's come with me on today's journey. Penpont looks like the kind of place you'd pass through without a second's thought. Quiet roads, old stone, nothing to impress you. But that is the trick, because this village has sent people far beyond its borders, shaped stories that revealed continents, and quietly left its mark on history without ever raising its voice. Once you start noticing that, Penpont changes. Yeah, today we're in my home village of Penpont in southwest Scotland. Penpont's just a small village, not far from Dumfriesshire. But this little village has so much history that I would love to share with you. But the point of this video is not so much about Penpont. It's showing you that you don't need to get in your car to discover some amazing historic places. And in Penpont, there's a number of them. So today, we're going to go on an adventure to show you these historic places. Come with me. Penpont has a mix of architecture. You can see there's a lot of modern housing to try and have the village grow for the needs and demands of today's lifestyle. There's an awful lot of Victorian and Georgian type houses as well. I look round here was a farming community, big farming area. There was a bit of wealth, but there was also poverty, depending on what end of the scale you were at. So you will see some very large Victorian villas, and you'll see small cottages that were the workers. But nowadays, both are highly sought after. Penpont's a lovely community. In Penpont, we have a church. We have a village shop. And he is definitely the hub of the community. We have a large estate on the edge of the town, of the village, Cape North, which we'll discuss further in the video. We don't have a pub, but we've got an active community group trust. What they do is they work with funds that are given to them from the community council, the wind farms, and anywhere else that they can get grants from to help make the community all the better. They have a village cafe where you can go in and you can get pie, chips, and a drink. And it's very reasonable. I think, is it £5, Jess?
£2.50.
£2.50, amazing, even better. So they do try and look after the community. Walking up this little close is taking us a shortcut to the next street. In this next street is a very famous explorer, a local Scottish chap from Penpont. His house, where he was born and brought up, has been turned into a museum. So the museum is here for anyone to come and visit. Sadly, it's been run by a trust that are desperately needing volunteers. And so if you're local to the area and feel as passionate about history as I do, please don't hesitate to put your name forward to try and save this fantastic building. But as you can see, very quaint cottages, and you wouldn't even know that the museum is here. Penpont doesn't make a big deal of its history. You can walk through the village without realising that someone from here went on to explore some of the most remote parts of the world in the 19th century. Just ahead is Sundial Cottage, where Joseph Thomson grew up. It's an ordinary little house quiet, unassuming, and yet this is where one of Scotland's most respected explorers began life. Joseph Thomson was born in Penpont in 1858. He grew up surrounded by hills, rivers, and long stretches of open land, a place where patience and observation mattered. By his early 20s, he was travelling through Eastern and Central Africa, at a time when much of the region was barely mapped by Europeans. These journeys were dangerous. Disease, political tension, harsh terrain, and the constant risk of violence. Thomson avoided conflict wherever he could. His guiding belief was simple. He who goes gently goes safely. He who goes safely goes far. Instead of forcing his way through, he negotiated. Instead of pushing on blindly, he adapted. Because of that, he completed journeys that others couldn't. He went on to map large areas of Africa more accurately than ever before, and he wrote in detail about the people, the cultures, and the political systems that he encountered. His books were widely read, back home, shaping how people understood places they would never see for themselves. One of the quieter traces of his legacy is Thomson's gazelle, a species found in the East African plains. It's fast, alert, and resilient. Millions of people have seen it in documentaries or in the wild without even realising its name traces back to a man from a small village in southwest Scotland. Thomson's travels took a lasting toll on his health. The illness he picked up never fully left him. He died in 1895 at just 37 years old.
So we're now currently walking down, as you can see, to the main area. Just after the arch in the distance was a black and white building with the door on the corner. That is the local cafe that's supported by KPT. The cafe is very much subsidised. £2.50 for pie, chips and beans, and a cup of tea. And then you can also get a roast dinner, I think, on a Sunday. Is that the £5?
It might
Don't
be.
quote us on the prices, but they are very cheap and reasonable. A small village in the middle of nowhere, and we have public facilities. So even in a small village, we've managed to save things like that, which I am a strong believer is important to keep tourists to be able to come.
This is the Penpont War Memorial, a tribute to those from this small community who served and fell in the great conflicts of the 20th century. But amongst those remembered in this village lies a remarkable story from a century earlier, that of Private John Ross, a Waterloo veteran whose grave still stands nearby. This memorial on Main Street in Penpont was created after the First World War and later updated to include the names from the Second World War, and unveiled around 1920. The bronze figure of a soldier, rifle reversed and head bowed, stands as a quiet testament to respect and remembrance. This memorial lists the names of dozens of local servicemen who made the ultimate sacrifice during the World Wars, ordinary villagers called to extraordinary duty. But long before the World Wars, this village became home to another soldier, Private John Ross. Born around 1790 in Kincardine, Ross enlisted in the 92nd Regiment of Foot, better known as the Gordon Highlanders, during the Neapolitan Wars. He fought in major campaigns across the Iberian Peninsula, including the battles of Vittoria and the Pyrenees, Nive and Orthez, campaigns that earned battle honours for this regiment and forged a generation of hardened soldiers. In June 1815, Ross was at the famed Battle of Waterloo. He endured fierce fighting, helped to defend positions at Quatre Bras and was wounded before the day ended. After nearly 5 years of service, John Ross returned home. He married Mary, and their family grew, with children born in Sunderland and Dumfriesshire, and eventually right here in Penpont. He died on Christmas Eve, 1866, aged 76, and was buried in Penpont churchyard. His headstone, though weathered with time, records his remarkable service, his battles, his medals, and the pride of life lived with duty and honour. Nestled in the heart of Penpont, Dumfriesshire, stands a building that has witnessed centuries of village life, Penpont Parish Church. For generations, it has been more than stone and timber. It has been a place of worship, community and memory. The current church dates back to 1867, designed in the elegant Gothic Revival style, built from local pink sandstone. Its tall spire and pointed arches dominate the village skyline, a landmark for miles around. Inside, visitors can admire the fine oak woodwork and the historic Forrester and Andrews organ, which has filled the church with music since 1875. Although the building itself is Victorian, the parish's history stretches back much further, with records of worship in Penpont dating to the 16th century, following the Scottish Reformation. The churchyard preserves a rich tapestry of local history. Among the weathered headstones lies the grave of Private John Ross, a veteran of the Battle of Waterloo. His life, from soldier to village forester, reminds us of the real people whose stories are entwined with this church. Other monuments date from the 17th century onward, reflecting the generations who lived, worshipped, and were laid to rest here. The churchyard is a living link to Penpont's past, echoing tales of faith, courage, and community. Beyond history, the church continues to be at the heart of village life. It hosts fortnightly Sunday services, Bible study groups, and community events. The parish also collaborates with local schools and supports initiatives like safe walking paths between Penpont and the neighbouring villages, keeping its connection to the community alive. However, this church has now been listed for closure. It's being amalgamated with Thornhill and other villages, churches in the area. On a gentle hill near Penpont in Dumfries and Galloway lies a remarkable piece of art that quietly marks a historic moment, the Millennium Cairn, by the acclaimed land artist Andy Goldsworthy. At first glance, it appears like a simple pile of stones, but this cairn is far from ordinary. Built to commemorate the turn of the millennium, it was constructed entirely from little coat red sandstone and sits atop of a gentle rise overlooking fields near Step End Farm. Goldsworthy chose this site near his home village of Penpont for the Millennium Cairn, a way of linking the old with the new and celebrating continuity between the centuries. Locals often call it the egg for its smooth, rounded shape, a form that seems both ancient and timeless. Though made relatively recently, the cairn fits naturally into the Scottish landscape, inviting reflection on history, land, and time itself. It's a quiet monument, but one that captures a big idea, the passing of time and our place within it. Cape Knock House sits separated from Penpont by the Scar Water. Its red stone walls and turrets rising against the backdrop of the Sutherland uplands. The estate dates back to the late 18th century, but most of what we see today was shaped during the extensive expansion between 1847 and 1868, underfamed by Scottish architect David Bryce. Recognised for its architectural and historic importance, Cape Knock House is a Category A listed building, the highest level of protection for heritage sites in Scotland. The drive to the house winds through oak woods and wildflower meadows, inviting visitors to slow down and take in the scenery. While not always open to the public, Cape Knock occasionally participates in garden tours and heritage events, allowing people to explore areas of the estate rarely seen. Cape Knock has long been associated with notable figures in Dumfriesshire and Dumfriesshire's history. Most famously, it was home to Sir Hugh Stuart Gladstone, a respected ornithologist, landowner and Lord Lieutenant of Dumfries. He lived here in the early 20th century and contributed to natural history studies in Scotland. Well, thanks for watching today's video, and from me, Dr. Grant Ferguson, and from Jess, our cameraman, editor, and everything else that goes on behind the scenes, would like to say goodbye, and we'll see you in the next one. See you soon. Like and subscribe. Subscribe to me always makes me think I have to put my hand in the pocket, but rest assured, in this case, it's completely free. The subscription just means that you are interested in what we're doing, the history, and taking you through Scotland one stage at a time through Scottish history. So when you subscribe, it will alert you to when our new videos come out, and we benefit significantly from your subscriptions because it helps to grow our channel and gets it pushed out to more people to view. So if you can like and subscribe, and if you can comment and interact with us, telling us what you think, even criticise us, let us know what's going on. We can then make differences and change things, and hopefully we'll have a much better community.